Abarigani, my country people. So our topic today being extraordinary solutions for ordinary problems. Welcome to Niwezeshe talk show where we give you stories that inspire you. I'm your host Monica Olo, Karibu Sana. In Kama Kawaida, we normally have amazing guests with us here on the show. But today, our guest, he's an award-winning social entrepreneur in extensive experience in business development, business coaching and fundraising. He also mentors youth and SMEs into marketing penetration. He is currently the special advisor of the Kibra Community Empowerment Organization and also the founder of K-Shoes. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Tambo. He'll actually tell us more about himself. Karibu Sana, how are you doing?
Thank you so much. It's my humble pleasure actually to come to your show. Amazing show, and I'm humbled to be here today.
I think people would love to get your full name, sorry. So what is your name?
Yeah, so I'm Joshua Tambo. I'm the co-founder of K-Shoes, and I take the lead role in business development at K-Shoes. Yep.
So we want to know who Tambo is. Like, who is Tambo? Background, yani wewe ni nani in short?
Well, mimi ni boy wa mtaani, born raised in Kibra, and spent my childhood in such amazing neighborhood, lively, and though with lots of challenges. I was just privileged to, have been given education, and my parents believed in education, so that was the biggest gift they gave me, and it acted as an enabler. So it created opportunities and platform for me, and I decided to come back to Kibra to pay back to my community.
So let's talk about your family in Kibera. I think that was actually a long time ago. Tell me about it in school and all that.
Well, we were privileged to live together, my dad, my mom, and the seven of us.
Wow.
Progressively growing to the seventh one, and my mom was a ambitious social entrepreneur, and she spent most of her time selling, vegetables, mostly food products.
Yeah.
She was kind of a seasonal entrepreneur, so she would capitalize on what's in demand and what's trending across different food value chains. While my dad is a retired plumber, so he spent most of his time working in different sites, construction sites, putting water systems. And one of my uncle was working in Kibra as a cobbler. So off classes would spend time with my uncle, and that's actually where I got my passion with shoemaking. But the seven of us went to school across different preschools and primaries within Kibra, and then later on moved to different high schools across the country.
Wow.
Yeah.
So like, how did you start Kibra? Let's go there now. How did you start K-Shoes? Sorry.
Yeah, so my uncle literally taught me how to make shoes at the age of 7, so I knew how to fix shoes, and he was doing it in a non-conventional way, in a more traditional way, just waiting for clients, and then they come, he fixed shoes, and then during high seasons, he could design maybe some back to school or office wear shoes and sell them. But when I graduated from school, I realized that I could translate this into modern business and make it a fully fledged production space. And I loved crafting shoes, and I loved creative designs. So I took it upon myself to look for like-minded business partner to launch it collectively. and we started sampling different designs, uh, producing them, and coming up with prototype and wearing the shoes ourselves. And then we could get impressive comments, feedbacks, questions about our shoes. And then that's when we started telling guys that these are our own crafted shoes, and collecting few orders here and there, delivering them, learning some hard lessons, and then later on grew it into a fully fledged footwear company, registered as a limited company with shares. I'm no longer the majority shareholder, but we have uh, people who have invested in the business, and they have equity ownership in the business.
So let's go back to you being 7 years old and very interested in shoemaking. That's actually very young. So, like, what made you enthusiastic about business entrepreneurship?
Well, I think I came from an entrepreneurial community. Kibera is the most entrepreneurial informal settlement actually in Africa. So I think that sparks my business acumen skills. But again, uh, I was privileged to go through different incubation programs that were teaching hands-on business development skills to inspiring entrepreneurs. And that's how I gained most of my business development skills and translated them into my company. So I had the passion, I had the drive, I had the resilience that a social entrepreneur needs to succeed, but I lacked the software and the hardware. The hardware, that is the business management expertise. And that is what I got from Ashoka. I'm a Ashoka fellow, and I'm also a YGAP fellow. So these two programs
Yeah.
provoked my passion into a professional path,
Yeah.
which is an entrepreneurship journey. And that's what led me to build, grow, and scale my footwear company.
Actually, that comes to my next question. What were some of your earlier failures and fears when you started your business? That's being actually one of them.
Yeah, sure. So I think I believe we started the business driven by passion and pushed by the fact that there was a proof of demand,
Yeah.
but we did not validate the market, and we didn't do intense market research to understand the taste preference and choices of different customer segments. So, for example, we had Kibera is a tourist destination, and we didn't master the art of uh, Western Western countries' tastes. So, more often than not, they could come to our workshop, but very interested. They want to buy, but they can't find what fits them. So it took us a long time before we could get that right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we lost some opportunities as a result of that.
Wow. So you are a beneficiary of the two international fellowship program. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so I'm part of Acumen Fellowship.
Yes.
So Acumen takes anchors their program on building the inner you. I would say the software, which is your integrity, personalities, your values, your beliefs. It really delves deep into making you ready for the journey that you are about to take. And I'm also part of Mandela Washington Fellowship, which works mostly on the hardware. It teaches you on how to connect to different networks, how to fundraise, and how to, build relationships with potential investors, stakeholders. So these two fellowships are well-rounded internal and external uh, capacity building opportunities for an entrepreneur.
Let's go back to our topic being having extraordinary solutions for ordinary problems, focusing on key issues. So, where do you guys get most of your materials from?
Sure. So as you know, Kibra is an informal settlement without social amenities and with very limited resources. So waste is one of the biggest problem, and most of the waste end up, in Nairobi River, and
Yeah,
some of them end up blocking the sewer lines,
yeah.
and in some instances you'll see, community burning the waste
Yeah.
and emitting carbon, and that is resulting into, affecting the climate. So for us, we saw an opportunity in this waste. Most 60% of our materials are sourced from local vendors like carpenters, tailors, and also industrial offcuts, which more often end up in dumping sites or rivers, or piling into turning, landfills into landfills rather. So we tapped into this, and we started creating value out of waste, and we designed an approach that would give us a flexibility in terms of custom made shoes.
Yeah.
So we would mix different materials. As you can see, my shoe,
Wow.
this is leather, and this is canvas. This is
Wow.
a piece of material from a carpenter for making your
Carpets.
seats.
Seats.
Yep. And more often, this is coming from industrial area where they would be maybe making leather bags, or perhaps leather related product, and then the offcuts are thrown out. But now we can transform it into something like this.
Um, s- in terms of numbers, I believe you guys are working with a number of youths. So, in Kibera, I, has this impacted their lives positively, being most of them do not have jobs?
Yeah, so Cashews has created an opportunity for skilled artisans actually to access a platform where they can translate their expertise into viable products that can be sold and translate into increased income. Additionally, we are a training hub, so we also try as much as possible to, sensitize young people and show them the value of footwear in Africa and in the world entirely, and show them how much they can make if they learn the skill. And that is how we've managed to train hundreds of youths, and they can set up their own micro footwear businesses. But we also set up Cashews Investment Fund because we are a social enterprise. So we reinvest 50% of our revenue into supporting social enterprises. So these are social enterprises run or managed by people from the informal settlements, majorly women, and we lean towards women living with disabilities or women who are
Oh,
able differently.
all
So we
right.
help them to learn how to set up a business and give them investment capital to launch off their businesses.
I was actually going to ask you about that before you actually answered it. Do you have anything that you would want to share with people out here, more specifically the youth, any, before we call it a wrap?
Well, I think our country is polarized to believe that white collar job is the only way of gaining success. Yeah, so most young people have been, made to believed, most probably through our education system, the white collar job is the only way out to success. But I would want to challenge them to leverage their education as an enabler, but tap into their talents and their gifts to be more creative and more innovative, to generate products, solutions, and services that can address social problems, and be self-employed, but also create leads of job opportunities across the value chains of their, of their businesses.
That's all. Thank you so much for being with us. Remember, we need to have extraordinary solutions for ordinary problems. Thank you all guys for staying here with us at Niwezeshe. Remember to subscribe to all our social media platforms at Niwezeshe Talk Show. Thank you very much.